Greetings, my fellow free Muslim sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, November 25th, 2015. Yeah, I just got off the phone from a good man I know named Christopher Lee. And this was in reference to David Necro, which is his last name is Apolia. Hope I pronounced it correctly. From the editor of Crypt magazine, which is based out of Las Vegas. He's in the ICU. Looks like he had a fell or got collapsed. I'm not so sure, but so far what I heard, he's not in good shape at the time being. I have to thank Chris for really going out there, because I tried to contact him in other areas and didn't get no reply whatsoever. And he went a little further and got some input at the Vegas hospital. Yeah, the man's father passed away last month too. Sometimes you gotta really try to take care of yourselves the best you can. Invest in your health. That should be your number one priority. And I was always like, maybe not always like bust his chops in the past, not out of malice, but out of a brotherly way, because he's always been a very honorable and caring individual. So hopefully he can make it through. But like I said, what I got so far, it could be slim. I'm not gonna get into too much details, but you should always have your thoughts and prayers and blessings towards this individual, and plus anyone else or in this scenario. I met him 2002, like the first show. Actually, we met at a Slayer concert when Dave Lombardo came back. The reunion tour, God Hates Us All, at I think it's called Ovation in Boynton Beach. It's not there anymore. At least the whole place got torn down. It's to be one big supermarket. I think it was a Winn-Dixie, if I was correct. He actually talking about doing a magazine, try to help promote it, and I called it Sex, Horror, and Rock and Roll. That was his slogan. Got some good articles, got some good contributors, and even Chris Lee, he made his contributions there as well. I am going to put his Facebook page up. You can actually see it for yourselves, and plus a photo under his staff. We'll have Dave's picture of him. And I like when he called himself the Motor City Dead Man. Band, he's like editor, band, publicist, promoters, and management. Please send press kits above the address. And I like when it says here, Dave Necro, aka the Motor City Dead Man, editor in grief, paranoid publisher. Some little sarcasm in here as well. Very articulate young man, 43 years old. We did a lot of shows together. He gives some people, try to bust his chops. He always has a way of calling people out. However, him and I hit off really well. Always been very courteous to me. And we always have like cool, articulate intelligent conversations. So it'll be the whole staff list here. And you can actually go to his all his sites. Sometimes try to stay in touch with the people you love and care for. I get pretty disturbed myself in a lot of areas. Sometimes, and I'm speechless to be very sincere. I'm sorry if I could have not exhibiting this really, really well. But I love the man, regardless. In their days, I'd like to smack him upside his head as a brother and a friend. That's how I am to a lot of people I care about. And like I said, don't know if you can make it or not. I just hope so. But I'm going to add the Crypt magazine website in here as well. And you can really good sarcasm. I always say that for a fact. Always, yeah, check the magazine out. Yeah, a store or two, letters, merchandise, band interviews. So definitely, yeah, actually check them out and post stuff on his page. Make sure you can wish him the best. May add the Dave Necro Facebook page in there as well. And a Twitter account and all that too. A guest book. He's always been very accommodating to the people he care about. So, like I said, my friends, you gotta live once, value it, invest in your health, regardless. Because you really have to value it. There are days you can go and not come out, not be alive the next day. We're never promised tomorrow. So make everything in life while you can. Don't worry about the petty things, materialism and so forth, because to me it's just a waste of energy. And always count your blessings. So I'll try to hit multiple topics when I can, as I can, and just try to have him in my thoughts, have him in your thoughts. Prayers, blessings, rituals, positive, blessed rituals. People know who I'm talking about. But I'm definitely gonna put the Facebook page up, the Crypt magazine page, sketch book there and all that. So write stuff in there. Look at his magazine, observe responsibly, and we'll just hopefully it can get out. We'll live out. We can wake up and just live from this. And I know it's Thanksgiving's coming up. Usually I always believe in Thanksgiving should be every day. We should only give thanks for being alive. And be around people, tell them that you love them. Family, friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, don't matter. But definitely tell them how you feel. I'm sorry, I'm just very morose at this time. But one thing I'll try to do, I'm going to try to hit a few of these articles the best I can. and we'll just take it from there. Man, that's the Ron Moreau state of affairs, my friends. Forgive me once again. I do digress. All right. Well, everyone's been talking about the shooting of Lachlan McDonald, and of course the officer named what's his name? Of course, he's a white officer, but it looks like the officer has been arrested for first-degree murder, and they did release the video death of this. I don't know why they're gonna put it on the news. Watch out for the exploitations, Chicago. However, I'm going to read this. This is from by Michael Snyder. Came out yesterday to be exact. It says here, warning, if you live anywhere near Chicago, brace yourself for mass rioting. Yeah, so I want to read that, give you my intake. And just take it from there. All right. Says here, the city of Chicago has released a video that shows a white police officer shooting a 17-year-old African-American young man named Lachlan McDonald 16 times. Cook County State Attorneys Anita Alvarez say that the video is graphic, violent, and chilling, and expected to provoke a very strong emotional reaction from Chicago's very large African-American community. Over the past few years, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and Freddie Gray have all become household names because of the way that they died. And now looks like Lachlan McDonald's name will be added to that list. But the situation in Chicago is potentially even more volatile, what we have witnessed in either Ferguson or Baltimore. More than 1 million African Americans live in Chicago metropolitan area, and the crime rate has already been skyrocketing. In fact, it is being projected that Chicago's murder rate will increase by 20% in 2015. This is a city that is always living on the edge of chaos, and now the video of Lachlan McDonald's death could be the spark that sets Chicago ablaze. And everything that has happened over the past year, the last thing that we need is just another incident that will make racial tensions in this country even worse. Unfortunately, that appears to be exactly what we are going to get. Cook County Judge Franklin Valderrama ordered the city of Chicago to release the video of the death of Lachlan McDonald to the public, and now the entire country is going to get to see what really happened. Could this be the footage that causes the anger and frustration of the African American community to completely boil? The following comes from CNN. Laquan McDonald was walking down Chicago Street the night of October 20th, 2014, carrying a 4-inch knife and behaving erratically, authorities say. Police told him to drop the knife. He didn't listen, and the officer fired on him of fear for his life, according to a police union spokesman. McDonald, 17, died. He was shot 16 times. Now, more than 1 year later, the public will be able to see what happened. Four African American activists have already had their patience stretched to the maximum by similar cases over the past few years. This horrifying video could prove to be the final straw. Already there are tremendous expressions of outrage and frustration pouring out on social media websites such as Facebook and Twitter. Cook County State Attorney Anita Alvarez specifically moved up the announcement of murder charges against the white police officer that shot McDonald to November 24th in a desperate attempt to defuse the reaction to the release of the video. But will it work? This news excerpt comes from USA Today. Cook County State's Attorney Anita Alvarez described the video, which shows Van Dyke loading 16 shots on 17-year-old LaQuinn as grim. It is graphic, it is violent, it is chilling, Alvarez told reporters after Van Dyke appeared in court Tuesday. Alvarez said she made her decision a week ago to charge Van Dyke, but had delayed announcing while federal authorities completed their parallel investigation of the incident. But after a judge ordered the release of the dashcam video by Wednesday, Alvarez said it was necessary to move up her office timeline as her federal counterparts continued their investigation. I felt compelled in the interest of public safety to announce these state charges today, Alvarez said. And needless to say, this is the kind of thing that could easily cause the city of Chicago to erupt in unprecedented violence. In fact, Chicago Tribune column John Cass is already fearing the worst. John Cass, a columnist for Chicago Tribune, said the video could tear Chicago apart. Dean Angelo, the president of the Chicago Fraternal Order of Police, told CNN affiliate WBBM he is concerned protesters from outside the city may converge to disrupt and cause problems. This is my city. We all live here, Angelo said. I'm concerned about the safety of my officers. I'm concerned about the safety of the civilian population. I think local people don't want to see their neighborhoods damaged. And even the governor of Illinois seemed quite alarmed that we could see riots. Here's more from USA Today. Sorry about that. Governor Bruce Rauner announced Tuesday that his office had been debriefed on the video and that he expected public reaction too strong, the Associated Press reports. The governor directed Illinois State Police to work with Chicago Police to make sure the public remains safe following the release of the video. The governor, however, declined to say whether he has deployed any additional state troopers or put the National Guard on standby. Even at the best of times, Chicago seems to be dealing with turmoil. Poverty is a persistent and growing problem. The city is teetering on the brink of insolvency, and it has become a central hub for some of the largest criminal gangs in the entire nation. According to a CBS News article that was published back in 2012, there are 100,000 members of criminal gangs living in the city of Chicago alone. Sergeant Matt Little leads one of the teams of Chicago's gang enforcement unit. There are 200 such officers in the city versus 100,000 gang members. Almost all the violence we're seeing now is from the gangs, Little said. When there is a shooting, we'll respond to the shooting. We'll figure out where we believe the most likely the area for retaliation is, and we'll work that area, trying to both prevent retaliation and to possibly build a case on offenders. And thanks to unchecked illegal immigration, more gang members are pouring into Chicago every single day. So if there were 100,000 3 years ago, how many are there now? Back in April, I warned about the civil unrest that was coming to America, and I specifically named 3 cities that would be flashpoints: Baltimore, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. I issued this warning before any of us had ever heard the name Freddie Gray, but by the end of April, the city of Baltimore resembled a war zone, and now Chicago appears poised to descend in chaos. If you live anywhere near Chicago, you need to prepare yourself and your family for what could happen next. Now that this video is available to the public, it could set off anger unlike anything we have seen up to this point, and that would not be good for any of us. And I've seen the video, be very sincere. And why was it released? I don't know. But one thing that people in Chicago, doesn't matter what you look like, I know you're gonna be protesting. Do it on principle, not malice. Don't even make sure your neighborhood or community gets damaged. Don't even get involved in confrontation with innocent bystanders. That is the main key. Sometimes you expect the mainstream media to exploit the daylights out of it, saying the cop is guilty, the cop is guilty, the cop is guilty, the officer is guilty. Then, without all the other information that may be coming out that they don't want you to know yet. That would be for the trial. This is why you have to always pay attention. Don't use malice. Use love. And it's interesting what Paul Leff said on here. This video is being released on purpose to cause racial violence that could and might spread across America, in which martial could be enacted. Outside protesters would be brought in to disrupt and ignite violence. Paid protesters. That happened in Ferguson. Happened in Baltimore. People in Baltimore try to protect their own towns, even Ferguson as well. The people in Chicago got to do the same thing. Protect your city. Everyone has obligations. The riffraff is going to try to take this for granted, use it as an excuse to violate others, regardless of your skin color, gender, ethnic background, etc. Now we'll continue on what he said here. As my wife and I just discussed, if this video remains silent, no one would even know about this, and the cop in question would be tried quietly. The corrupt government takes what straw it can grasp at to cause racial violence. Tragically, America is already far too divided to ever be united again. Prepare for the worst concerning this video. America has rejected God, and because of this, will be destroyed. A house divided cannot and will not stand. Yeah, some good points there, regardless of what your faith. You cannot argue with that. And other people have their comments here as well, which is interesting. Ooh, sorry about that. We've always got to look at everything in the bigger picture. Pay attention to the mind control tactics. Expect some of the paid activist groups use racial division or color division. Don't get caught in this web or spell, or I call it the Jim Jones syndrome, her conformity, and so forth. As I say, I've seen the video, and like I said, it's disturbing. Claim he had a knife, but I don't know if he actually has 16 shots. I didn't see 16 shots. Maybe 3 at the most, and I say that out of respect. You always have to see things in the bigger picture. What is Rahm Emanuel gonna do about it? Remember what he said about you can't stop a good crisis to go. You can't have a good crisis go to waste. That was in the Wall Street Journal, by the way. That's one thing you gotta think about, my friends. He is one crooked bastard. And many people talk about Chicago was like mafia run. A lot of corruption there as well. Tyranny. This is why I've always been proud pro self-defense. But the city of Chicago think they're smarter than everybody else. I recommend those people in Chicago, arm yourselves for your family's safety and yours. Self-defense is honorable. And another article is very similar to this by filming cops. You can see the dash cam on here as well. And it's interesting when it says here, hold on, I think it came out, yep, came out here, I don't know when, filming cops. Cop shoots teen boy 16 times, execute him for holding a pocket knife. And like I said here, protests erupt in the streets of Chicago. They showed a diagram of all the 16 shots. Hundreds of citizens have already taken the streets in response to the video of Lachlan McDonald's execution by police. Many of them are upset at the second video, which showed the shooting was deleted by police, and many feel that a cover-up was involved throughout the case, calling for the officer higher in the chain of command to be terminated. Riot police have descended in familiar fashion, and there already seem to be escalating tensions. In one incident, they are initiating physical aggression on citizens who are peacefully crossing the bridge, and there's a video for that as well, and you could see it for yourselves. Yeah, it's a 30-second video. It's definitely you can look at it, and it's better. And they're talking about, and they're chanting out, the whole world's watching. People have their phones, the new small videos, cameras, and all that. Very mainstream. So, of course, the protesters are boycotting. They're doing a boycott on Black Friday, which I think Black Friday is a sham anyway. And I gotta say, protests are expected to begin in cities around the country as the video continues to go viral, and police departments are on alert for more potential civil unrest. Update November 24th, video released, viewer discretion advised. Officer has had 18 complaints of abuse and misconduct filed against him, including reports of racial slurs. That's all. Like I say, it's all these are just claims. I'm just going by what the article says here. The video shows Lackren's body spinning around as bullets riddled his body. The officer continued unloading the entire magazine on him. He continued shooting Lackren's body as he laid on the ground, as seen by the bullets causing pus of debris. Over 80 minutes of additional footage was captured by a nearby Burger King, which showed the entire shooting, but police are reported to have deleted this footage. Police are on standby in multiple cities in the event of civil unrest. Below is unedited dashcam of the dashcam video in its entirety. You can see it for yourselves, like 4 minutes 25 seconds long. Is it that? 4 minutes 25 seconds long? I think it's like 6 minutes long. And of course, the update on here is from the Chicago Tribune. Cook County prosecutor said veteran Chicago police officer has been charged with first-degree murder in the killing of 17-year-old Lachlan McDonald, who was shot 16 times in an on-duty incident on the southwest side in October 2014. Officer Jason Van Dyke, 37, turned himself in to state attorney's investigators at 7:41 a.m. in their offices at the criminal courthouse at 26th Street and California Avenue, booking records show. As he arrived, Van Dyke kept his hands in his jean pockets, looked straight ahead, and did not answer questions shouted from reporters as he briskly walked into the Layton Criminal Court building with his attorney. Van Dyke's prints were taken at 8:29 a.m. He was placed in one-person cell under close observation, records show. Van Dyke was unarmed but brought along his inhaler he uses to treat his asthma, according to records. Lachlan McDonald, 17, was shot by police 16 times. 9 of the shots struck Lachlan in the back. A witness who was who saw the shooting describe it as an execution. Surveillance video from a camera in a nearby restaurant captured the entire shooting, but police investigators confiscated the footage. It was widely believed that they deleted the footage as soon as they saw it because the shooting was so horrendous that it would have resulted in mass civil unrest. Sure enough, after numerous Freedom of Information Act requests to see the video, Chicago Police Department still has not released it. It's declined, with the Courthouse News Service reported the latest news as follows. Chicago Police doesn't want surveillance videos of police shootings to see the light of day. 2 lawsuits filed this week in the Cook County claim. In the first lawsuit filed by attorney Michael Oppenheimer on August 3rd, the lawyer claimed the department ignored his Freedom of Information Act request for the video of the October 12, 2014 shooting of Ronald Johnson III, an unarmed black man, by a police officer. Second lawsuit filed August 5th by independent journalist Brandon Smith complained of the denial of requests for the video of the police shooting of Laquan McDonald, a 17-year-old shot the same month as Johnson. Oppenheimer, who was representing the estate of Johnson in a federal lawsuit, said it was unusual for a lawyer to file a FOIA request. His firm believes it is important for the people to see the video. The attorney says he has seen the video but cannot comment on it due to the protective order issued by the judge for the trial. Smith's complaint says the CPD always intended to deny requests for the video, but took repeated extensions to delay it so it could better manage negative press attention and avoid embarrassment. Smith says he made his request because he wanted to publicize that they're denying the people this video and didn't believe it should be kept secret. He adds that 14 other requests were made to see it. Lots of people wanted this video. No one got it. Ronald Johnson was shot by police who responded to reports of gunfire in Chicago's Washington Park neighborhood. Police said he had a gun, while witnesses said he was unarmed. Laquan McDonald died after being shot 16 times by one of the officers trailing him after he allegedly tried to break into the car with a knife. The FBI is investigating the incident, and the district manager of Burger King near the site of the shooting says 86 minutes of the restaurant security tapes surrounding the shooting were mysteriously erased after several police officers asked to view them. It's really fishy, said Smith. They settled a lawsuit filed by McDonald's family for $5 million. By McDonald's family for $5 million. According to the watchdog Better Government Association, Chicago police shot 240 people over a 5-year period from 2010 to 2014, killing 70. As a result, the organization says $26.7 million was paid out to the families of those victims, BGA linked. Oppenheimer says that although things are supposed to be transparent, the city is very good at keeping things quiet. Oppenheimer's complaint said the protective order does not bar the video being produced for request, and Smith says the CPD has to prove producing that would harm the investigation they said it was involved in. Chicago Police Department did not respond for a request for a comment from the Courthouse News. Both plaintiffs are represented by Matthew Topic Lovey and Lovey in Chicago. And they got the link about visit Courthouse News Service for more cases of police misconduct. There's a video down here via Channel 5, NBC. If I'm correct, this is from Channel 5 News, talking about that claim about the Chicago Police Department have been actually doing their I'll say, tyrannical attributes. So we'll just check this out for the moment. I'll give you my intake right away. Yeah, so definitely. Oh yeah, typical delays. Impressive. All right, see what I can do here, my friends. All right. Well, all I have to say is was one interesting video clip from NBC5, and so there's like a lot of questions with the Chicago PD, but the whole thing is people gotta be very leery or be very cautious of not endorsing federalizing police because it will be a lot more heinous than what it is. Everyone there has their natural born rights. People in Chicago has to be vigilant. I'm not saying go beat up on every owner as a police officer and so forth. Do a form of quiet riot. If necessary, Lord willing, Battle of Athens, Tennessee, as a last resort. Not promoting or condoning violence by any means, but the most thing about it, people with criminal minds. That's the only language they can understand. So like I tell everybody out there and around the country, use it, your rallies, productively. Plus, don't get the jump on the hype and the media exploitation. And of course, the manipulators, the con artists, the so-called hustlers in this cause. They are trying to find a way of swindling people. And always beware of the hired thugs that want to instigate trouble. They could be plants, provocateurs, or agents. I don't even know about this gentleman, Michael McDonald. Don't even know him. Looks like he had graduated. They'll show that photo, but when I was watching the video on his carrying the knife, the man may have rough edges, may not be 100% innocent. But based on the video, did he deserve to die? I will say no, at the time being. We'll just see how the courts, the information in the courtroom, how accurate or memorable it really is, or really be. Always observe responsibly, my friends. That's all I have to say. And may Lachlan McDonald's soul be forever free. Next one here came from The Nation. Instigating Progress Daily. Came out yesterday. It says here, Kentucky restores voting rights for thousands of ex-felons. Governor Steve Beshear announces a new executive order giving 170,000 ex-offenders the right to vote. Governor Steve Beshear, Democrat of Kentucky, only has 2 weeks left in office, but he's determined to go out with a bang. Beshear announced today that he has issued an executive order restoring voting rights for nonviolent ex-felons who have completed their sentences. This will give 170,000 ex-offenders the opportunity to register to vote according to Brennan Center for Justice. It's a huge victory for voting rights in the Bluegrass State. Kentucky is one of the only 3 states, along Florida and Iowa, where ex-felons cannot vote unless governor personally restores their rights, preventing 7.4% of the voting population in the state and 22.3% of African Americans from voting after serving their time. Nationally, 5.85 million Americans can't vote because of felon disenfranchisement laws, according to the Sentencing Project, including 2.2 million African Americans. 39 states automatically restore the voting rights of all felons, while 8 states automatically restore such rights only to some felons, notes Insider Louisville. The old system is unfair and counterproductive, Measure said at a news conference. We need to be smarter about our criminal justice system. Research shows that ex-felons who vote are less likely to commit crimes and more likely to be productive and members of society. Brashear's Republican successor, Matt Bevin, has voiced support for restoring voting rights of ex-felons, as has Kentucky Senator and presidential candidate Rand Paul. I don't think it is fair or appropriate that we would take from somebody something that could be restored to them, that the nation would be better to have them in possession of all their rights. Bevin said we had ran for Senate in 2013. Voting rights advocates are hopeful that he will continue Badger's executive action. Here's how the program will work, according to Thomas Lopez of the Brennan Center. For those who have not yet completed their sentence, people eligible will get a certificate of rights restoration and a voter's registration application in the mail with their discharge papers. And people who have already completed their sentence will be able to contact the state to initiate that same process. In 1792, Kentucky became the first state to adopt a constitution preventing those with criminal convictions from being able to vote. Many states adopted felony voting bans after the Civil War, when African Americans were granted rights to vote with the passage of the 15th Amendment. Felon voting restrictions were the first widespread to set legal disenfranchisement measures that would be imposed on African Americans, found a 2003 study from sociologists at the University of Minnesota Northwestern. Florida's felon disenfranchisement law played a major role in the 2000 election when the state attempted to purge ex-felons from the voting rolls, but instead ended up preventing many eligible voters from casting ballots, as I reported in my book, Give Us the Ballot. The NAACP sued Florida after the election for violating the Voting Rights Act. As a result of the settlement, the company that the voter organizations entrusted with the purge, Boca Raton-based Database Technologies, or DBT, ran the name on its 2000 purge list using stricter criteria. The excise turned up 12,000 voters who shouldn't have been labeled felons. That was 22 times Bush's 537 vote margin of victory. Jeb Bush approved the only fifth of ex-voters in Florida who applied for voting rights restoration while he was governor, according to Mother Jones. At the time when the country is focused on the inequities in our criminal justice system, the anti-discriminatory system of felon disenfranchisement has to be part of any solution toward curbing mass incarceration. Well, I say it's good because how I look at it, if you serve your sentence, you should have all your rights restored. Period. All right, I'll just make that clear right now. But based on the so-called bureaucratic system, they want to treat you like dumbed down, and pathetic. People made mistakes doesn't mean they're going to be habitual offenders. Everyone has to have to take responsibility for their actions. So I am very pleased about that on these voting rights. So this is how it has to be. You got to be this is how it has to be, in my view. So it's a good thing. Now give him the thumbs up. Bashir the thumbs up on that area. And of course, when they talk about the disenfranchisement in the 2000 election, when they gave George W. Bush 537 vote margin of victory. That, to me, that area as a president, vice president on a popular vote in Florida, that's only an endorsement, not an actual vote for them directly. Because if you study electoral college, your votes will go to the electoral college. Your votes will go to them. You're not voting for the candidates in those positions. And I'm going to put a video on that for sure on electoral college. So it's really good stuff. And let's do that in a moment here. I'm just going to look it up. Stay tuned. All right, cool. I just got that found out what I'm looking for, because the whole thing about that 587 vote margin, they say, oh, like the whole popular vote actually is electoral college, and I'm gonna put a video link on there, but here's the audio version. You can check it out yourselves, and just a little education is good. Here it is.
I want to talk to you about the Electoral College and why it matters. All right, I know this doesn't sound like the most sensational topic of the day, but stay with me because I promise you it's one of the most important. To explain why requires a very brief civics review. The President and Vice President of the United States are not chosen by a nationwide popular vote of the American people. Rather, they are chosen by 538 electors. This process is spelled out in the United States Constitution. Why didn't the founders just make it easy and let the presidential candidate with the most votes claim victory? Why did they create, and why do we continue to need this electoral college? The answer is critical to understanding not only the electoral college, but also America. The founders had no intention of creating a pure majority rule democracy. They knew from careful study of history what most have forgotten today or never learned. Pure democracies do not work. They implode. Democracy has been colorfully described as two wolves and a lamb voting on what's for dinner. In a pure democracy, bare majorities can easily tyrannize the rest of a country. The founders wanted to avoid this at all costs. This is why we have three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. It's why each state has 2 senators, no matter what its population, but also different numbers of representatives based entirely on population. It's why it takes a supermajority in Congress and 3/4 of the states to change the Constitution. And it's why we have the Electoral College. Here's how the Electoral College works. The presidential election happens in 2 phases. The first phase is purely democratic. We hold 51 popular elections every presidential election year, 1 in each state and 1 in D.C. On Election Day in 2012, you may have thought you were voting for Barack Obama or Mitt Romney, but you were really voting for a slate of presidential electors. In Rhode Island, for example, if you voted for Barack Obama, you voted for the state's 4 Democratic electors. If you voted for Mitt Romney, you were really voting for the state's 4 Republican electors. Part 2 of the election is held in December, and it is this December election among the state's 538 electors, not the November election, which officially determines the identity of the next president. At least 270 votes are needed to win. Why is this so important? Because the system encourages coalition building and national campaigning. In order to win, a candidate must have the support of many different types of voters from various parts of the country. Winning only the South or the Midwest is not good enough. You cannot win 270 electoral votes if only one part of the country is supporting you. But if winning were only about getting the most votes, a candidate might concentrate all of his efforts in the biggest cities or the biggest states. Why would that candidate care about what people in West Virginia or Iowa or Montana think? But you might ask, isn't the election really only about the so-called swing states? Actually, no. If nothing else, safe and swing states are constantly changing. California voted safely Republican as recently as 1988. Texas used to vote Democrat. Neither New Hampshire nor Virginia used to be swing states. Most people think that George W. Bush won the 2000 election because of Florida. Well, sort of, but he really won the election because he managed to flip one state which the Democrats thought was safe, West Virginia. Its 4 electoral votes turned out to be decisive. No political party can ignore any state for too long without suffering the consequences. Every state, and therefore every voter in every state, is important. The Electoral College also makes it harder to steal elections. Votes must be stolen in the right state in order to change the outcome of the Electoral College. With so many swing states, this is hard to predict and hard to do. But without the Electoral College, any vote stolen in any precinct in the country could affect the national outcome, even if that vote was easily stolen in the bluest California precinct or the reddest Texas one. The Electoral College is an ingenious method of selecting a president for a great, diverse republic such as our own. It protects against the tyranny of the majority, encourages coalition building, and discourages voter fraud. Our founders were proud of it. We can be too. I'm Tara Ross for Prager University.
Join Prager University. Click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click here to sign up for free at prageru.com for quizzes, contests, and prizes.
Well, there you go. The pros and cons of Electoral College. Some people still believe we should get rid of it, but others say no. So you have to really observe things thoroughly, and when in doubt, listen to it again. But just to give you all the facts, my friends, this is why when I hear all this information about the popular vote, and of course in 2000, Al Gore lost because of Florida, and I have to say, technically I disagree, because Al Gore never won in Arkansas or his home state of Tennessee. If he won in one of those two states in the Electoral College, he would have been president. So just to give you a very good rundown, and hopefully you share with everybody else. All right, this next one here came from actually before it's news, but originally came from what's this person's name? Lisa Haven. Yeah, Lisa Haven. She has a website called lisahaven.net, and it says here, wow, the reason Turkey shot down the Russian fighter jet, what they don't want us out, has been made public. And as it reads here, okay, I like the slow poke here, motion. Reads here, by now I'm sure many of you are aware of the events that transpired earlier today when the Russian Su-24 fighter jet was shot down by the Turks and landed in the area that the Turks called Turkmen Mountain. While the mainstream media is painting their version of the story, the truth is much of its load of rubbish. In the video below, YouTuber Press Reset Earth brings us the real truth about the reason why the jet shot down. I believe you find what he has to say in the video rather intriguing. And there's a very interesting video clip on there. It's like 6 minutes long, and it talks about the accuracies and inaccuracies on how it got shot down and how the Russians were producing on destroying ISIS. You just go examine the video and make your own judgment. I do find it very fishy. And of course, the one video below, here's one more piece of the puzzle out of Gary Franchi's Next News Network, where he shows the weapons used by rebels were American supplied. It tells you all about it. And like a lot of us have been saying it for years, that ISIS is government funded or New World Order funded. That's how I look at it. And you can hit the website lisahavennews.net, and there's plenty of other links here as well. And many of us, including her, are seeing it, the road to World War III if this keeps escalating. And very concerned to all my brothers and sisters out there, freedom-loving sovereign thinkers worldwide, including the areas in the Middle East, Syria, Iran, and even Russia, which is not Middle East, but Europe, Asia area. We have to let people know that these nations that are involved, like the United States, have been hijacked by the foreign bank cartel, the One World Order, Illuminati, doesn't matter, etc. I am totally opposed to the attack on Syria. This is nothing more than an unmeritable excuse. And hopefully everyone out there will share these information to everyone within their social media network, because I do not want to see World War III. Because who's going to benefit? The military-industrial complex and the banksters. So he talked about the two, about White House gave ISIS a 45-minute warning before bombing oil tankers. So it shows how astute of them, how astute the White House is, or Barrister Toro, the teleprompting reading individual, Barack Obama. But many people say, oh, he's a Muslim, but I don't think so. I still call him just another bend-over Bob to the New World Order as far as I'm concerned. And NATO and all that stuff. This is more like a one world order platform. And I don't like it at all, and hopefully everyone else will agree with me completely. Next one over here, cyberwar.news. It's entitled, We Are All Engaged in Cyber War, says former NCA expert. It is by John E. Dottery. And one moment, as it reads here, wherever we want to be or not, all of us, individuals, companies, governments, are currently engaged in a widening cyber war, according to former NSA cyber expert and U.S. Air Force vet, with more than a quarter century's worth experience in military intelligence, cybersecurity, and conflict resolution. It is very important for all organizations, whether they be governmental, NGO type, or private sector enterprises, to realize one salient thing: we are really all at war. Cedric Leighton, currently the head of the Cedric Leighton Associates consulting firm, told UK website V3. Leighton was a director of cryptologic training operations at the National Security Agency, before forming his own consulting firm. He was discussing cybersecurity, nation-state surveillance, and the spy world in the aftermath of the ISIS-led terrorist attacks in Paris. Whether you like it or not, you have been enlisted in this effort to secure your networks and to secure your digital infrastructure, he told the website. The digital war is currently underway. On one level, would be ratcheted up dramatically during the great power conventional conflict. In fact, the Pentagon has begun integrating a cyber offensive capability into its existing warfighting planning. The part of the conflict will be fought online, but unfortunately, as Leighton said, many are still not prepared for the coming cyber battle. Cybersecurity initiatives that many companies undertake are really not sufficient to combat the threats that are not there, and which multiply up on a one-by-minute basis. When you see the nature of the threat and who the threat actors actually are, what are we doing as a response? There's certainly an imbalance. We are looking at a situation where security mechanisms cannot keep up with the threats that state actors produce, as well as non-state actors and hacktivists like Anonymous. All those come together in a very special landscape, he added. Leighton said that mass surveillance might have actually failed intelligence officials in Paris, but he also noted that many intelligence agencies in the West have not yet figured out the best way to handle big data and to properly assimilate all the big data points that are out there. When you look at the French law was passed in the wake of the Charles Hebdo situation, it seems the bureaucracy has not caught up with the procedures, including sharing the threat information that need to happen. He said it looks like it didn't happen in this case, and that's what's damning about it. What is needed, he said, is data collecting that is targeted, collection that is smarter. Law enforcement intelligence needs to remember that, yes, it is about collection, but more importantly, it is about refined collection, targeted collection, so that you can go after those who truly need to be watched in order to prevent these kind of activities, he said. Like Cyber War News on Facebook by clicking here, and it tells you the sources to check out the other links. And oh yeah, it's just people gotta make sure if you got like rely on the internet for everything, get it secured, get the right software for it, and of course we gotta be aware of the EMP if the EMP thing happened, and it could wipe off the internet and totally damage it. It would be in the Stone Age. But the cyber war is on, regardless of what you think. And I do have to disagree about the whole lack of failed intelligence in officials in Paris, because we all know too, yeah, it's all been planned out, but who actually benefited from it? Something to look at. And especially when they talk about the whole rhetoric on the bombings in Paris, the attacks in Paris, it's like 9/11 revisited. So you always got to look at the fine line, read between it. But the cyber war is happening, so everyone needs to prepare themselves at all costs. All right, next one here came from the Arab source. Came out, about a couple days ago. Is entitled here, WikiLeaks, Hillary Clinton claims Saudi Arabia is the largest donor to Sunni terrorists worldwide. This is by Left Fadal. Says here, WikiLeaks has struck again. This time, they have revealed a U.S. government cable sent from the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton to the U.S. Treasury Office that specifically alluded to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's substantial financial donations to international terrorist groups fighting the U.S. Armed Forces. And according to an introductory cable that discussed Saudi Arabia's background, donors in Saudi Arabia constitute the most significant source of funding to Sunni terrorist groups worldwide. Secretary of State Clinton followed this statement up with the following. Continued senior-level USG engagement is needed to build on initial efforts and encourage the Saudi government to make more steps to stem the flow of funds from Saudi Arabia-backed sources to terrorists and extremists worldwide. Saudi officials have constantly insisted that their intelligence agencies are working rigorously to combat terrorism in the country and around the world. However, the recent rise of the Islamic State of Iraq and al-Sham ISIS has led to many questions where this terrorist group's funds are coming from and who is responsible. Secretary of State Clinton illuminated the importance of Saudi Arabia's assistance to these groups, including their monetary reliance on these financial donors. Saudi Arabia remains a critical financial support base for Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, LET, which is LET, other terrorist groups, including Hamas, which probably raise millions of dollars annually from Saudi sources. Contradicting what the Saudi officials attest, Secretary of State Clinton stated that the Saudi government has taken only limited action to combat terrorism abroad. Riyadh has taken only limited action to disrupt fundraising for the UN 1267 listed Taliban and Leti groups that are also aligned with Al-Qaeda are focused on undermining stability in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Oh yeah, sure. Clinton confirms Saudi Arabia's reluctance to combat terrorism outside the country and their deliberate intentions to undermine the U.S.'s attempts to stabilize Afghanistan and Pakistan. Hillary Clinton has begun her campaign to win the presidential candidate seat for the Democrats, and she has not commented on these cables. What else is new? This woman has a lot to hide, and she is considered one of the most corrupt politicians as well, my friends. So, you know what? There's so much crap out there on Hillary Clinton, and you got the people still people that are supporting her. You have my condolences. You know what? Hillary Clinton is part of the problem. Plain and simple, no questions asked. She's a hypocrite as far as I'm concerned. And that's all I'm going to say. Enough. All right. Next one here came from Poor Richard's News. Came out a couple of days ago. It's entitled Greensboro, North Carolina Police Gun Surrender Program Yielded Only One BB Gun. When we told you about Greensboro NC Police Department's plan to host a community of why guns surrender. It seems the residents of Greensboro are much smarter than the police chief there, as exactly none of them decide to voluntarily disarm themselves and leave their homes without protection. What cops did get was 1,000 nonviolent pledges. I promise to be really, really good this year, Santa, and a single BB gun from ILA. Says here from ILA, voluntary terms and events also usually requires some incentive to stimulate participation. This typically takes in the form of cash or gift card, which of course can then immediately be used to finance the purchase of new guns. Given all this, it was particularly ambitious for Greensboro, North Carolina Police Department to urge residents to turn in guns while also signing a pledge of nonviolence at an event the department conducted last Saturday. According to Facebook posts advertising the event, police employees will be accepting handguns, rifles, shotguns, and ammunition at the event. It is not a buyback program. No cash should be given for weapons, voluntary surrender to police. It was meant to be an event in which law enforcement community members work together to solve problems. The GPD noted that there is no limit to how many firearms would be accepted, and they would not be returned. The department also offered to pick up firearms from owners' homes. Police community partnerships are a positive measure to increase public safety, but good intentions aren't the same thing as good for effective plan. A report by Time Warner Cable News tried to put a positive spin on things by noting that almost 1,000 people responded to take the pledge, leading to one belief that 1,000 firearms have been turned in, but it was hardly the case, as evidenced by the footage accompanying the story. The gun turning apparently resulted in a single BB gun pistol and a single sheathed hunting knife being taken off the street. I guess Ralphie Parker won't be getting that BB gun this year after all. Let's just read the rest, see what they have to say about this. It's from the NRA ILA.org. And it came out this past Friday. S stands for fail, turning gun event next stick paper pledges. Oh man, let's see what it has to say here. And like a couple of paragraphs. Crime involving firearms in Greensboro have increased 68% from last year, according to the report. Fortunately, asking citizens to promise to be on good behavior and accepting the community surplus sporting goods are not the totality of the GBD's stepped up efforts to counter this alarming trend. The department's Facebook page also cites the creation of streetcar units and enhanced dispatch protocols to call for services likely to escalate to violence. The signed pledges collected at the event will be displayed at GPT headquarters. That may be good PR for the department, but their effectiveness will be measured in the coming days and years by how many criminals are paraded before them on their way to facing justice. I'll tell you one thing, the police chief for Greensboro is one damn fool. That's all I gotta say, plain and simple. You're nothing more than a tyrannical stooge, man. And I'm not even gonna say your name because it'll be deprecating on my show. I got one thing for that chump, or the police chief. Are the police obligated to protect an individual in your state? If so, prove it. I dare you. Explain. Give me your meritable explanation if the police are obligated to protect an individual in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's all I gotta say, because you know what? He can't prove it. Sovereign immunity, liability, tort. I put on my past episodes, look it up, look into North Carolina. That's it on that. End of story. Alright, finally. This came from CNET.com. And it's the upcoming movie, Battle Lines Drawn, in the first trailer for Captain America Civil War by Luke Lancaster. It says here, First trailer of Marvel Studios' Captain America Civil War premiered Tuesday night on Jimmy Kimmel's live YouTube channel. Following on from Captain America, the First Avenger, and Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Chris Evans is again putting on the stars and stripes for Civil War, this time going toe-to-toe with Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark. Also returning are Anthony Mackie as Falcon, Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, Sebastian Stan as Cap's friend Bucky Barnes, who looks to be on the run for his sins as Winter Soldier. The film is loosely based on the 2006 comic Civil War by Mike Mellor and Steve McNevin. In the comic series, longtime teammates Captain America and Iron Man find themselves on opposite sides of the polarized Superhero Registration Act when faced with laws force superheroes to register with the U.S. government and disclose their secret identities. Captain America rebels, pulling together whichever allies he can to wage, wait for it, Civil War. Again, the pro-registration, Iron Man and company. Opening on Bucky holed up in a warehouse in the middle of a tense conversation with Captain Falcon. The trailer showcases a personal twist on the Civil War story, with Cap going to extreme lengths to protect his old friend. The film is dealing with such a small roster of heroes in the comic book series, but it still has an impressive host big screen Marvel hero making return appearances along with first-timers like Black Panther. Captain America Civil War due out in theaters May 6, 2016. It seems likely 2016 is a good time for a year where erstwhile allies and punch-ups with other superheroes. Slugfest, Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice first gracing screens on March 25th. In the meantime, check out the trailer below. I've seen the trailer. It's really, really good. Very interesting. It'll be fun. Something really to check out. And folks, if you don't know about this thing about the Civil War, comic book miniseries Civil War, it's really cool. I know friends of mine have read it, and you could say it was based out of post 9/11, the War on Terror. So in a comic form, the War on Terror is the battle on ourselves. Just a very good example. So definitely check out the trailer. I'm real curious to see the movie, and hopefully it will be really good. Cause I'll admit, it's entertaining. I like a lot of the stuff that's out there, so always have a good time to check it out, to watch it. So definitely, you have the chance, take your aim and do it. All right, that is all for now, my friends. Thank you for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share this episode throughout your social media network. Furthermore, I hope everyone in the United States and beyond have a safe, great weekend. I know it's Thanksgiving. I know the dark side of it as well and so forth. But always believe in giving thanks every single day of my life. Not just some commercial holiday. But always be nice to your families, friends, and all that good stuff. Give them affection, homage, and tell them that you care about them. All right? Definitely do that in the bottom of my heart. If you have any questions, comments, criticisms, love letters, hate letters, or if you want to send me something interesting I haven't checked out, etc. However, always send your comments by any means with decorum. You can hit me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, World Truth, YouTube. YouTube has an issue. They censored one of my episodes. So any people on YouTube, hit my Spreaker page. And I think it's a couple of episodes ago they censored it. Claim I don't have any reason, but I'm gonna try to find out why. But all your YouTube listeners, check out my Spreaker page. They haven't banned me by any means, okay? Or if you want to send your correspondences, You email me at LokiLuck3 is all together. LokiLuck3, the number 3 to be exact, all together at gmail.com. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Till next time, take care of yourselves. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.